Hi everyone, it's Kathie. Thanks so much for joining me. Today we're going to feature the February 2018 Paper Pumpkin Kit, and this is alternate project number 2, and I'm going to be sharing with you the next 3 cards that I made. So we're going to get started, and here's the first card. We're going to be doing some stamping, and what I want is a script across the top there, and I decided to go with Your Awesomeness and Hello Sweet. And I thought I'd try it with my little Misty today. I'm not that great using it because I haven't used it that much. And just like any other thing, if you don't use it, then you're not going to be too good at it. So I'm not that great at it. And you can kind of watch me struggle a little bit. And the first stamp is easy, but then after that you got to line it up and make sure it's spaced properly. And so I thought I'd give it a try and see if I can get this thing straight, because I want about maybe 1.5 inch width band across the top there. And so I want to give it that look of script, and then we're going to shade over top of it. So I'm starting off with actually I'm going to use garden green color because it's kind of dark, and I think it'll work. So I'm not sure if this is gonna work at all. But yeah, so I'm just stamping a whole bunch of Your Awesomeness, and now I've changed over to Hello Sweet, and we're gonna fill in some of the gaps. And this is where it's kind of getting a little difficult now, because you got to make sure your screen there, I guess, is clean, and because if you have your page or your cardstock hanging off the end there, it'll get marked up. And ask me how I know that. So I kind of gave up on it because it started to, the spacing started to kind of shrink a little at the bottom there. I finished it off just looking over top, and that's basically the only way to get it straight, is just looking over top of it and then stamping. Now this next part, I'm creating a little mask, and I just use some plain paper and some washi tape, and I'm just masking off the section. And now I'm ready to color in just spots with the first color is Lemon Lime Twist, so I'm using the lighter color first, and then Tempting Turquoise. I'll just color in the other areas, and I do go back and forth between the 2 colors about 2 times. So Tempting Turquoise, now I'm back with the Lemon Lime Twist, just to blend in the colors. And then after that, I'm going back into the Tempting Turquoise, which really darkens it up more, which is fine, but what you want is, you want it to blend. All right, so now we're ready to just peel off the washi tape. I'll just do that ever so gently. And now we have a nice clean edge. And now I'm just going to create some stems, and I'm going to use the wildflower stamp. And I went with the garden green and Pacific Point for these, or for this flower, and I wasn't sure if I should go with straight black. So I actually wanted to try it with the black, and I think it'll look just as good, but I thought I'd kind of stay with the color combination. Although I kept thinking, when it dries, it's going to get lighter. But it has dried, and it still looks pretty good, so I don't mind it too much. All right, so now we're ready for the sentiment, and we're going to stamp that in black, and I've used the thank you. And then this little part here, or sorry, the next part, I decided to go with so much, and it looks a little bit crooked, but it'll do. All right, so now I put on 3 pearls just to finish off the card, and I did stick it down onto a top folding card base. So pretty easy card, aside from some fun stamping. All right, we're going to move on to the second card. This card is kind of similar to the first set of cards, but I thought I'd include it in this video. We're going to do some stamping with the Your Awesomeness stamp, and I basically just turned it over. So we're stamping on the back side, and all we're doing is just stamping a line across the Sahara sand panel, which is the diagonal one. And it doesn't have to be perfect. So you can just kind of stamp across it. I kind of stamped and then just slithered it across. And I just wanted this kind of strange, interesting stripes, what I was after. And I did cut it down. And I'll have the measurements down below. And now we're going to grab this friend sticker. And I'm going to peel it off and put it on my craft mat. And we're going to do some shading. So I'm using Garden Green, and I think I used Tempting Turquoise after this. So we're just going to shade the bottom portion of Friend. And then I'm going to flip it over and use the other color. And we're just going to color in the top. Just the top part of the word friend. All right, and now this part here, we're just going to cut up this leaf. So I did cut it up in 3s so we can have some leaves for her flowers. But one of them I grabbed and just cut it again so we can have some small leaves for the smaller flower bunch. And then here is the daisy flower that I colored in with I think it was Pink Pirouette first, and then I went in with the Melamambo just to get it a little bit bolder. And then here I'm just arranging the first arrangement with the 2 leaf pieces that I cut up and 2 of the smaller flowers. Now that top one there, I wasn't quite happy with it, so I went back afterwards and just kind of fixed that up. Here I'm arranging the friend word to get it nice and straight, and this part here is where I actually changed out the flower. So I used the smaller yellow one with the blue and the little pink one, and I think that looks so much better. And now I'm going to stamp the hello only word from that sentiment, so hello friend, and I'm just gonna sparkle up the friend word. And I also put some on the flowers. So that's it. I could have put some pearls on there, but I thought I'd just leave that out for now. And that's our second card. I did stick it onto a Nina Solar 110-pound card base. I thought I'd try it since I had it in my stash forever. And it's pretty thick. All right, moving on to the last card. Now this one here, I wasn't sure about it. I was kind of going to give up on it because it didn't show up very well. And I didn't want to have to create it and then cut it out and whatnot. But after I did it, I thought, no, I'm just going to have to do it. And it looks so much nicer stamping it out and then cutting it to put over top. So this is kind of like a little bouquet of flowers, I suppose, laying on its side, and I think it turned out really dainty. But this part here looks, it looked pretty scary. I did cut out a lot of the footage because you don't need to see that part, because I'm going to recreate the little flower bunch using that teeny tiny little flower stamp that came in the kit. But basically, I just colored in all the flowers. I did start off with the Melamambo pink, and then I went with the real red. And here's where I stamped that one little flower arrangement, and I just colored it all in red with green leaves, and then I fussy cut that out because that's going to go over top of the first one, or the one that I stamped, which to me is just not quite bright enough. I put yellow in the center and then I did dot it with the black. I don't know what kind of flower I was doing, but I just thought I'd try that. So here's where I created the little flower bunch. So I kind of stamped crisscross lines, and then I just stamped all the way up with that tiny little stamp. And I just colored in each of the leaves. And then I colored all the little buds in pink first, which I don't know why, but I did. And then I colored it all over again with the red. And there were some blank spaces. So I kind of went over those areas and created my own little buds instead of just stamping them again, because it's such a tiny little image that you're not even going to notice. And I'm just extending those stems, and now I'm ready to cut out the arrangement. And we're just going to stick it over top of what I originally did, just to cover up my mess. I was going to actually raise it, but I didn't think it looked that good, so I just stuck it down flat. And also this little small flower piece, just stuck it down flat. And now the sentiment, which I had my head in the screen there, so I just cut that out, but I used the Your Awesomeness, but I took off the NESS part and just made it Your Awesome. But I don't think that's the your word. I'm a little fussed over. That's not quite how you spell it, but close enough, right? Now, this looks pretty good. I did have an issue with my Sarah San. I had to cut it out and fix it because somehow I had a nick in it. But see this image here? I decided to put some of that glossy accent on it, and that really makes the color pop out so much more. So I like it a lot now. All right, so thanks a lot for joining me today, and I hope you enjoyed it. So stay tuned for the next video. Bye for now.